Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look what is happening in India and in the world. Hurricane Hannah rode ashore onto the Texas Gulf Coast on Saturday, bringing winds that lashed the shoreline with rain and storm surge, and even threatening to bring possible tornadoes to a part of the country trying to cope with a spike in coronavirus cases. The first hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season made landfall twice as a Category 1 storm on Saturday afternoon, within the span of little over an hour. The first landfall happened at around 5 p.m., about 15 miles north of Port Mansfield, which is about 130 miles south of Corpus Christi. The second landfall took place nearby in eastern Canadian country. Hannah had come ashore with maximum sustained winds of 19 miles per hour. As of Saturday night, those winds had weakened to 75 miles per hour. Chris Birchfield, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Brownville, said residents needed to remain alert. While Hannah's winds were expected to weaken throughout Saturday night, the storm's real threat remained heavy rainfall. He said, "We are not even close to over at this point. We are still expecting catastrophic flooding," Birchfield said. Afghanistan has written to the UN Security Council over continued violations of its territory by Pakistani military forces and said it will ask the 15-nation UN body to take necessary measures and actions to end them if the situation is not de-escalated bilaterally. Afghanistan's permanent representative to the UN, Adela Raz, wrote to the President of the Security Council, Germany, to report on the most recent violations of the Afghan territory by Pakistani's military forces and said the incursion represents a retaliation of violations, as Kabul had previously expressed its concerns to the Security Council in February and August 2019. Ras said in the letter that on July 15, Pakistan military forces began unprovoked artillery attacks against Afghan border posts and civilian residential areas in the Sarkano and Asadabad district of Kunar province. The attacks included 12 heavy artillery strikes targeting Asadabad district and more than 160 artillery rounds fired at Sarkano district, in addition to 4 casualties among members of the Afghan National Defense and Security Forces. The attacks claimed the lives of 6 civilians, including 2 women, and 8 injuries resulted in significant damage to civilian property. The multi-agency team probing the Kerala gold smuggling case says one of the accused, Katie Rameez, is the key link in diverting proceeds of smuggling to fund anti-national activities in South India. In the petition seeking the remand extension of Rameez, who is in the custody of the customs now, the National Investigation Agency said he seems to be the kingpin and was in constant touch with some fringe elements working against the interest of the country. He used to insist on the other accused making use of the situation and bringing maximum amount of gold from the Middle East. He wants to weaken financial position of the country. He was also close to many who indulged in unlawful activities and he made frequent trips to abroad, the NIA said in the custody report. Rameez was arrested by the customs from his house in Malappuram after the NIA detained 2 other accused, Swapna Suresh and her accomplice Sandeep Nair, from their hideout in Bengaluru on July 10. 5 days after 30-kilogram gold was seized from a consignment in the name of an employee of the United Arab Emirates consulate in Thiruvananthapuram. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has dared the opposition to topple his government and said though it is a three-wheeler government, he is firmly in control of its steering wheel. Thackeray, who is also president of the Shiv Sena, said his alliance partners NCP Congress are positive and the Maha Vikas Aghadi government is benefiting from their experience. The future of my government is not in the hands of the opposition. The steering is in my hands. A three-wheeler is a vehicle of poor people. The other two are sitting behind. Thackeray said in the second and last part of his interview published in Shiv Sena mouthpiece Samna on Sunday ahead of his 60th birthday on Monday. Why wait for September-October as is being speculated? Topple the government right now since you get pleasure in toppling. Some people derive pleasure in constructive work while some are happy in destruction. If you feel happy in destruction, go ahead, he said. Notably, his predecessor Devendra Fadnavis earlier compared the ruling MVA comprising the Shiv Sena and its ideological opponents Congress and NCP with a three-wheeler auto rickshaw and raised doubts over its stability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday recalled Indian Army's victory in the Kargil War in 1999 and criticized Pakistan, saying it undertook the misadventure with sinister plans to capture India's land. Today is Kargil Vijay Divas. 21 years ago, on this day, our army won the Kargil War. India can never forget circumstances under which the war was fought. Pakistan undertook this misadventure with sinister plans to capture India's land and to divert its ongoing internal conflicts. Mr. Modi said on Mann Ki Baat, India was then trying to have cordial relations with Pakistan, but as it is said, it is the nature of the wicked to have enmity with everyone for no reason. You can imagine the enemy was perched high on the mountains while our forces were fighting them. But the high moral and true grit of our forces won against mountains, said the Prime Minister. On July 26, 1999, the Indian Armed Forces had defeated Pakistan in a conflict in Jammu and Kashmir's Kargil district. Since then, the day is celebrated as Kargil Vijay Divas to rekindle the pride and valor of soldiers who took part in Operation Vijay. The conflict began in May 1999 after Indian forces detected infiltration by Pakistani troops and terrorists into the Indian territory. The Pakistani side had a strategic advantage during the start of the conflict as they had positioned themselves in the key locations and could fire at advancing Indian troops. China's People Liberation Army has begun a well-publicized live fire drill with powerful ammunition in the southern Guangdong province, considered to be the doorstep of the South China Sea, official media reported. The week-long drills, which will include anti-ship and anti-aircraft exercises by the PLA Air Force, with the PLA's Navy and Rocket Forces joining in, are being held in the backdrop of rising tensions with the US over, among the other issues, the South China Sea disputes and Washington's sale of arms to Taiwan. Last week, for the first time, Washington rejected China's maritime claims in the South China Sea, large parts of which are also claimed by Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan. The messaging behind the PLA's latest drill is directed at the US, which had also earlier this month deployed two of its frontline aircraft carriers and their strike groups comprising more battleships in the South China Sea besides flying reconnaissance aircraft in the region. Announcing the Lizhou drills, a PLA notice issued earlier this week said live fire exercises will cover an extensive area with powerful ammunition, and the general public should not enter the designated area. The PLA did not share the specifics of the exercise, but Chinese military experts pointed out that the use of phrase powerful ammunition in the notice could be taken as an indicator of the nature and the components of the drill. Diesel price in the national capital on Sunday inched towards Rs 82 per litre mark, following the second consecutive day of price hike. Diesel price was increased by 15 paise per litre, according to a price notification of state-owned oil marketing companies. This took the retail selling price in the national capital to the highest ever rate of Rs 81.94 per litre. This is the second consecutive day of price increase. Rates were hiked by 15 paise on Saturday. The price increase on Saturday came after a 4-day hiatus in rate revision. Petrol prices on Sunday remained unchanged. Prices of petrol have remained static at Rs 80.43 per litre for almost 4 weeks. Petrol rates were last changed on June 29. Prior to hitting the freeze button, petrol price had been increased on 21 occasions since the oil companies reverted to daily price revision on June 7. The cumulative increase in petrol came to Rs 9.17 per litre. Diesel rates have continued to be revised in July. The cumulative increase in diesel price since June 7 now totals Rs 12.55 per litre. In Mumbai, petrol is priced at Rs 87.19, unchanged since June 29, while diesel now costs Rs 80.11 a litre. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal hit back at the Congress on Saturday after Rahul Gandhi accused the railways of making profit through Shramik trains, alleging that only those who looted the country can call subsidy a profit. Only those who looted the country can describe subsidy as profit. The railways spent more money in running Shramik trains that it received from state governments. People are now asking what happened to Sonia Ji's promise of paying for the people's tickets. Mr. Goyal tweeted. Congress President Sonia Gandhi had said during the migrant crisis that her party will pay for tickets of Shramik train passengers after reports emerged that they mostly poor migrants were made to pay for their journey. On Saturday, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi accused the government of benefiting by making profits during the coronavirus-induced lockdown when people were in trouble. There are clouds of disease and people are in trouble, but one seeks to benefit. This anti-people government is converting a disaster into profits and is earning, he said in a tweet in Hindi, tagging a new report. The railways spent Rs 2,142 crore on running Shramik special trains, but earned a revenue of just Rs 429 crore. Official data showed. The data received through an RTI application filed by activist Ajay Bose shows that the railways earned Rs 428 crore till June 29, by when most of the 4,615 trains had been run. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
Wasabi of Tundi fan with the number one. Eka Chesco more fun, unte cooler number one. Eka don't run from the sun, unte Gangsta number one.
पहली नजर में हो गया मैं दीवाना 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 इतना सुंदर जैसे कोई सपना सुहाना मैं दीवाना दीवाना
कचारिया टाइल्स, जो देखे वो दीवाना।
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. BJP MP Pragya Singh Thakur on Saturday appealed people to recite the Hanuman Chalisa 5 times a day till August 5, which she believes will rid the world of the coronavirus pandemic. Bhumi Pujan, or the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of Ram Temple at Ayodhya, is to take place on August 5. Let us, all of us together, make a spiritual effort to wish people good health and end the coronavirus epidemic. Recite Hanuman Chalisa 5 times a day at your home from July 25 to August 5, the Bhopal MP tweeted. Conclude this ritual by lighting lamps on August 5 and offering Aarti to Lord Ram at home, she added. She also shared a video on Twitter in which she said the BJP government in Madhya Pradesh is making efforts to contain the spread of coronavirus by imposing lockdown in Bhopal till August 4. Though the lockdown will be over on August 4, this ritual will end on August 5, when Bhumi Pujan for Ram Temple in Ayodhya will be performed. We will celebrate that day like Diwali, she added. When people, Hindus from across the country, recite the Hanuman Chalisa in one voice, it will definitely work and we will be free from coronavirus. This is your prayer to Lord Ram, Thakur said. The Delhi government will soon launch a job portal to make job opportunities available to those who have lost employment due to the COVID-19 lockdown. The announcement was made by Delhi Labour Minister Gopal Rai. He said that the portal will act as common platform for companies looking to hire and job seekers. The Aam Aadmi Party government will soon come with a slew of reforms to revive the national capital's economy, which has been adversely affected due to the coronavirus-induced lockdown, he said, adding that many migrant workers have moved out of Delhi and several people have lost their jobs due to the shutdown. We have managed to arrest the spread of COVID-19 in Delhi. Now there is a need to bring the city's economy back on the fast track, said the minister. Rai's announcement comes weeks after the Maharashtra government launched a similar portal. Mahajobs was launched by Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on July 6. It aims at making local manpower and employment opportunities available to companies and workers respectively. The portal will help the recruitment of skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled employees. Earlier this month, the Delhi government had formed a 12-member expert committee to explore economic reform measures in order to help businesses recover from the impact of COVID-19. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has requested Governor Kalraj Mishra to start a session of the State Assembly to discuss bills, including one on the coronavirus pandemic, without mentioning a floor test, reports said on Sunday. Gehlot asked him to start a session of the State Assembly from July 31. Rajasthan is facing a political crisis due to a rebellion by Sachin Pilot and a section of Congress legislators supporting the the former Deputy Chief Minister. The Gehlot camp, which is confident of its numbers and feels a floor test may be its best bet to end the political crisis, had said the governor is delaying convening a session due to pressure from the BJP-led central government. Mishra has denied the charge, saying he will follow constitutional norms to convene the House. The governor had turned down the earlier proposal sent by the Congress government and said that it did not mention a date or a reason. Congress functionaries aware of the developments said on Saturday that the Rajasthan government has addressed Mishra's queries on the urgent need for holding a special session of the Assembly. Legislators supporting Chief Minister Gehlot had on Friday staged a 5-hour demonstration at Raj Bhavan to push for the demand for a special sitting. A powerful 40-kilogram improvised explosive device planted by Maoists was recovered in Chhattisgarh's Bijapur district on Sunday. Police said the explosive, packed in a big plastic container, was unearthed by a joint team of various security forces on Basaguda Tarim Road. Bijapur Superintendent of Police Kamlochan Kashyap said personnel belonging to CRPF's 168th Battalion, 204th Battalion of Cobra and the district force were involved in the operation. While carrying out the demining exercise on the route, security personnel spotted the IED planted beneath the road near a bridge between Sarkeguda and Pedagalli villages, averting a major mishap. As per preliminary information, Naxals are going to observe the Martyrs Week from July 28 to August 3 and had planted the IED to target security forces during that time, the official said. Security forces often carry out patrolling on the Basaguda Tarim route where road construction work is underway. Meanwhile, security has been stepped up in the Naxal hit districts of the state, particularly in the 7th district of Bastar division, in view of the Martyrs Week, which the rebels observe in the memory of their slain leaders. State-owned BPCL has brought a voluntary retirement scheme for its employees ahead of the government privatizing the country's third biggest oil refiner and second largest fuel retailer. Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited said in an internal notice to its employees. The Bharat Petroleum Voluntary Retirement Scheme 2020 opened on July 23 and will close on August 13. A senior company official said the VRS has been brought to offer an exit option for any employee or officer who does not want to work under private management. BPCL, where the government is selling its entire 52.98% stake, has about 20,000 employees. The official said 5 to 10% of employees are expected to opt for VRS. Expressions of interest for buying BPCL are due on July 31. All employees who have completed 45 years of age will be eligible for the scheme, according to the VRS notice. It, however, excludes active sportsperson and board-level executives. BPCL will give buyers ready access to 15.3% of India's oil refining capacity and 22% of the fuel market share in the world's fastest growing energy market. BPCL has a market capitalization of about Rs 97,000 crore and the government stake at current prices is worth Rs 51,000 crore. The successful bidder will also have to make an open offer to other shareholders for acquiring another 26% at the acquisition price. Congress's Rahul Gandhi tweeted a video today attempting to mobilize the people against the BJP over the events in Rajasthan. Using hashtag Speak Up for Democracy, his post urged the people to unite and raise a voice for democracy. The Congress is planning a countrywide protest on Monday over the situation in Rajasthan, where the Ashok Gehlot government is struggling to survive. While the party said a protest will be held outside the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the official residence of President Ramnath Kovind. In a video, the Congress had accused the BJP of ripping up the constitution and demolishing democracy, while the whole country is fighting the coronavirus. It has done the same in Madhya Pradesh, the Congress said. We demand to immediately convene an assembly session which is within our constitutional rights, the party said in the video. Rajasthan Governor Kalraj Mishra has turned down the one proposal to start an assembly session. A second one was submitted today, which he said he is examining. The question will be taken up tomorrow by the Supreme Court, which will also decide whether a court can interfere with Speaker's decisions. The Congress stands only one past the majority mark in the 200-member assembly. Team Pilot claims the support of 30 MLAs, but so far the evidence points to only 19. The BJP has 72, and including allies and independents, it stands at 97. Coronavirus is still as dangerous as it was in the beginning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said today, as he urged citizens to take a pledge of freedom from the pandemic on August 15, when the country celebrates Independence Day. With over 13 lakhs cases, India is the third worst hit country in the global coronavirus tally after the US and Brazil. This year, August 15 celebrations too will be in very different circumstances. In the midst of a coronavirus pandemic, I urge the youth, the people of my country, to take a pledge of freedom from the pandemic this Independence Day. Take a resolve for a self-reliant India, a resolve to learn and teach something new, and a resolve to earnestly carry out our duties, PM Modi said while addressing the nation through his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat. Though the country is among the worst hit, it has managed to have a successful recovery rate against the COVID-19, PM Modi said, highlighting India's track record in dealing with the COVID. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.